I walked into my local bank planning to withdraw only $400 for a routine expense. The teller froze after checking my account, turned pale, and whispered, "Sir, please have a seat." Minutes later, the branch manager locked the office door. That's when I realized someone had stolen far more than my money. Family Karma Effect viewers, our channel currently has just 30 subscribers, and our next goal is to reach 50 subscribers. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. My name is Daniel, and for nearly 40 years I worked 6 days a week repairing heating systems. Every extra dollar went into savings because my late wife and I believed security was earned, never gifted. After she passed away, those savings became my quiet promise to her. My daughter wanted me to retire peacefully, but my son changed after his marriage. He suddenly asked about account balances, passwords, and investment papers. I laughed it off, believing he simply cared. That morning I needed $400 to pay a trusted contractor fixing my leaking roof. Looking back, every casual question my son asked feels like another warning I quietly ignored, never imagining those conversations were leading towards something I could neither explain nor stop before it reached my front door. Even so, I trusted family more than paperwork. That innocent confidence would soon become the very reason my ordinary life unraveled without any warning at all. Forever. The branch manager led me into a private office and placed several account statements across the table. My hands trembled as I saw withdrawals far larger than anything I had ever made. There were online transfers, cashier's checks, and transactions stretching back months. I stared at him and quietly said those signatures were not mine. He listened carefully before explaining that every request had been supported by legal documents authorizing another person to act on my behalf. My mind raced towards strangers, stolen identities, and sophisticated scams. I could not understand how anyone had reached my savings without raising a single alarm. Then he asked whether I had recently granted power of attorney to anyone close to me. The question settled heavily in the room. I searched my memory, replaying every family conversation. For the first time, my son's unusual interest in my finances no longer felt caring. It felt frighteningly deliberate, and I feared the answer.
The investigation moved quickly once the signatures were examined. The forged power of attorney named my son as the person controlling my finances, and every suspicious transaction traced back to decisions he and my daughter-in-law had made together. Before I could even confront them, I attended a family gathering where the truth hurt even more. My relatives spoke to me with careful smiles, asking whether I was remembering things correctly. Someone gently suggested I should stop handling my own money. That was when I realized my son had been telling everyone I was becoming forgetful and mentally confused. Standing only a few feet away, I overheard him and his wife discussing what would happen to my house and savings after I entered a care facility. They spoke as though my future had already been decided without me. My heart broke quietly, but one question remained. Had they convinced everyone? Or could the truth still be heard? Every instinct told me to confront my son immediately, but anger would only warn him. Instead, I remained calm and hired an experienced attorney who specialized in financial fraud. Together with the bank's investigators, we quietly collected every document connected to my account. Security footage showed who visited the branch. Phone records confirmed conversations I never had. Signature experts compared genuine paperwork with the forged power of attorney, exposing careful but undeniable differences. Each new piece of evidence strengthened the truth while I continued acting as though nothing had changed. My son became increasingly comfortable, speaking confidently about my future and assuming his story had already been accepted by everyone around us. He mistook my silence for weakness and my patience for surrender. That false confidence encouraged him to make even more careless decisions, leaving behind proof no explanation could erase. I knew the time to speak would come soon, and when it did, every lie would face the truth. Together, the meeting took place inside my attorney's office with bank representatives, fraud investigators, and several family members seated around one table. My son arrived confidently, convinced he controlled the story. That confidence faded as each document appeared before him. The surveillance footage confirmed every bank visit. Financial records matched unauthorized transfers. A handwriting expert carefully explained why the signatures on the power of attorney could not have been mine. Phone records exposed conversations that contradicted everything my son had claimed. The room fell silent as carefully constructed lie collapse beneath undeniable evidence. My daughter-in-law lowered her eyes without saying a word, while my relatives slowly realized they had believed the wrong people. Nobody celebrated. There was only quiet recognition that truth had finally caught up with deception. Looking at my son, I felt sorrow before anger. Justice had exposed the fraud, but no legal victory could fully restore the trust that had been stolen from our family forever. Every instinct told me to confront my son immediately, but anger would only warn him. Instead, I remained calm and hired an experienced attorney who specialized in financial fraud. Together with the bank's investigators, we quietly collected every document connected to my account. Security footage showed who visited the branch. Phone records confirmed conversations I never had. Signature experts compared genuine paperwork with the forged power of attorney, exposing careful but undeniable differences. Each new piece of evidence strengthened the truth while I continued acting as though nothing had changed. My son became increasingly comfortable, speaking confidently about my future and assuming his story had already been accepted by everyone around us. He mistook my silence for weakness and my patience for surrender. That false confidence encouraged him to make even more careless decisions, leaving behind proof no explanation could erase. I knew the time to speak would come soon, and when it did, every lie would face the truth together. The legal process eventually recovered most of the money that had been taken, and my son was forced to answer for every decision he had made. Watching him face those consequences brought no joy. A father never dreams of seeing his own child standing on the wrong side of justice. Even so, I finally understood that protecting the truth was not an act of revenge. It was an act of self-respect. My daughter remained by my side, helping me rebuild a quieter life filled with honest relationships instead of false appearances. The pain never disappeared completely, but it no longer controlled my future. I learned that forgiveness does not always mean restoring trust, and peace sometimes begins with accepting what cannot be changed. If my story leaves you with one lesson, let it be this. Money can be stolen, but character always leaves a trail, and sooner or later, the truth catches up with everyone.